Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. You are listening to Philly Sports Talk on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight is our 70th episode as they continue to fly by and pile up. I'm Bobby Cash, joined always, as he always says for me, by my co-host, Chris Amos. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on? Pretty soon we'll have the 76 show. We'll dedicate that maybe to the 76ers.
Yeah, we'll do like a top 25 Sixers of all time or something.
Isn't it the 76th year of the NBA?
Somewhere around there, yeah. It was like 1946, right? So, yeah. How about that? And we have, two titles?
Wow.
2 titles and a lot of wins.
Yeah. Well, hey, one thing is you could probably argue that 83 team may have been the best team ever.
Yeah, I mean, people say, the 95 Bulls, right up there.
Yeah, one version, a KD version of, I guess, Golden State you'd have to put up there.
Sure. Well, we come here on a Tuesday, and it's the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. The All-Star game will be played tonight. Is it me, or does the game just not have the same luster it once had? I mean, when you got to see guys that you never saw play, you got to see a Ken Griffey Jr., or even going further back, you'd see like George Brett and, maybe a Kirby Puckett, guys you didn't get to see play much. It doesn't seem like with interleague play, it's not as alluring of a game.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid and then thinking it was like the biggest thing in the world. I remember the one game, I guess we could find out what year it was. I was at a friend's house watching it, and Fred Litt hit the first grand slam ever in a Major League Baseball All-Star game. And actually, when I was doing some umpiring, one of the last games I did, actually, that friend, I probably haven't seen him in 20 years, was coaching one of the teams. I was just surprised to see him. But, no, you're right. It just doesn't have what it used to. And I think a lot of it's because baseball is not as popular as it was, especially with younger kids.
True. It's more popular, it seems, in the island nations, in the Dominican Republic and Cuba. It seems like they still grow up playing baseball, and hey, why not? You can make it to the major leagues and be a Juan Soto and be able to turn down $440 million like it's $50. So you can grow up hitting a ball.
Well, I'll ask you a question about that. If he's turning that down, isn't the question then to the Nationals to say to him, okay, well, because if they're offering him that, why isn't the question from the Nationals, what do you want?
Well, I think the Nationals pretty much went all in, and they thought he would accept it. The problem with the contract is it's all backloaded, and it's going to be paid over, like you said, over years and years, like a Bobby Bonilla type contract.
Well, I saw an interesting thing today, Bobby. The 9th highest paid Cincinnati Red this year is Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow. That's right. They did that with him. Yeah.
Well, and my only question is, looking at it from a standpoint where, of course, I'll never be. It's like if I'm Washington, I want to go all in with him. I got to go to him and say, look, okay, you're obviously our future, and our future and our future and our future. So what do we got to do to keep you here? And of course, I guess it does come to money, but I don't know if it has a lot to do with their philosophy of wanting to put good players around as well. I would say wanting to win, but they just won 3 years ago.
True, and he did win the World Series as a rookie, so he was on that team, 19 years old. And he won the home run derby last night, and a lot of people complaining about the counting. And I noticed it live that Kyle Schwarber's home runs didn't seem to be counting. I don't know if it was something to make Albert Pujols advance and make people watch, but they definitely took a home run from Schwarber.
Yeah, I saw that as well when I was watching it, and some people were saying the one that they said went out didn't. And then I don't know if this was the rule or not. Someone was trying to say, well, you can't hit another ball until the previous ball lands. If you do, that ball doesn't count. I don't know.
I got you. They weren't paying attention to that at the end. They were firing one after another when Alonso was trying to catch up.
And when they were showing Pujols too, the last home run he hit, I forget which round it was, but it came with 0-0-0 on the clock, and the ball hadn't released from the pitcher's hand. It's an exhibition, of course. The only thing is, I mean, I guess if they're going to give away $1 million to the winner, that isn't the big issue. I mean, a lot of people who were complaining were people who had bet money on it.
Right. Well, it is the big issue to a guy like Julio Rodriguez of Seattle, who only makes the league minimum. So, so that was huge for him. Taylor, how you doing? Taryn, thank you for joining us. Shane, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Taryn says the same thing as me. He has the same vibes, too, I guess, about the All-Star game being not as exciting. He says, did the Phillies do something silly or stupid? Why? What happened now?
I didn't see anything today. From what I was looking at earlier, I don't think they've made any moves. Maybe he's just asking, is it something coming up that they might do that would help the team? And I guess that's something that we can get into.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. Obviously they need starting pitching. They only have 2 legit starters. Obviously they need a center fielder. And I guess they could use some bench help. But nowadays with this DH, you really don't need pinch hitters, so it's pretty much center fielder and starting pitching. Would you agree?
Right.
Anything else?
I tweeted out earlier this week, and I was being serious about it too. I said, I can't believe I'm putting this tweet out. The trade deadline is approaching, and the Phillies do not need bullpen help.
I know.
I mean, they just sent down Mark Appel, who is a guy who shouldn't have been sent down.
Right.
The only reason why he was sent down is because, for whatever reason, the Phillies aren't willing to bite the bullet and DFA Familia.
Right. And Appel is a 2-way player, so they don't have to clear him. So, but who cares? Like we said, lose Familia, let him go. Hopefully, a playoff team picks him up and he comes back to face him in the playoffs.
True. He was the guy who threw. Do you remember last year, the Sunday night game? He threw the pitch that Reese Hoskins hit. That looked like it was a home run that bounced on a seat in the first row.
Yeah, at home.
And they said it wasn't.
Yep.
And then he struck out Harper to end the game.
Yep, that was the right field. It bounced off the seats. It was a home run.
It was.
Yeah.
They didn't count it.
Yep.
And if the Phillies look at the situation going forward, when you think that Harper, I guess, is going to be reevaluated tomorrow, or I guess he's supposedly meeting with the guy who operated on him. So I guess there's a reevaluation process there to see how things are going.
Yeah.
I don't have any vision in my head of Bryce Harper playing and contributing the rest of the season. I'm hoping I'm wrong, of course. It's just, I don't know how from that injury you can come back as soon as he thinks he's coming back, and also how you can come back and compete at the same level we were used to seeing him compete. Now, can he get back to that in the upcoming season next year? Who knows?
What's his pinky finger, right?
No, it's his thumb.
Okay, so it's his thumb. So yeah, it's going to affect his grip on the bat.
I believe it's the thumb on his right hand, on his throwing hand.
Well, I mean, that's gonna heal faster too. A thumb. They said they're taking the pins out possibly tomorrow, so he could be back sooner than expected. You got to get Gene Segura back too. That's another really key player. He's a guy I like. Yeah. I don't really love many other players, but he's a guy I like. He's a major league hitter, and he's a guy that they definitely miss. All right.
Yeah. Well, the issue there is Bryson Stott. Though he does play well defensively, I mean, he just cannot contribute offensively on a consistent basis. He'll have a game or two where it looks like he's figured things out or he knows what he's doing. But then again, he hasn't had that much experience. I mean, he may be the guy for the future. But if this team wants to do something this year, they need a productive Gene Segura back in the lineup desperately.
Definitely. So I don't really have any names for outfielders. It's not like it's a market full of center fielders, but I do have a starting pitcher who I held the name from you, and he's definitely going to be traded. And the Phillies faced them, and he beat them twice this year. Texas Rangers. Martin Perez. And they have a history of making deals with the Texas Rangers.
They do, and I don't know if the Rangers are thrilled about the last deal. Well, they might be because they They got rid of Kyle Gibson, though he was an all-star last year. By the way, he's pitched pretty well recently.
Yeah, ever since the 4-home run first inning against the Cardinals, I don't think he's allowed a run. And they won their last 2 games 14-0. The Phillies pitching has been there.
that'll really help out your starting pitching or you as a starting pitcher when that happens. Yeah, Spencer Howard going there didn't work out for them.
No.
Just an amazing thing that happened with his career, and also help me out. I'm blanking on the guy. Oh, Ian Kennedy, who they got last year. I guess he's still with Arizona, but I don't see now when you talk about Texas though. They're going to if they're going to trade him, they're going to want some players who can play and fill in for them because they're building something for the future.
Texas, you said?
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. I don't think they think they're winning this year. But
no, of course not.
With some of the moves they made in the offseason, and if they're trading a guy like Perez, they're going to want some top prospects back.
Yeah, they're not winning this year. I mean, they did spend a ton of money though. How about the Angels? I always talk about the Angels. Since they fired Madden, they're 11-36. Is that right? Or 11-25. It's amazing how bad they've played with the talent that they have.
Well, but Tony, that start they lose.
Yeah, arguably the 2 best players in baseball.
Yeah,
and they can't win.
They have arguably the 2 best players of the last game. And you're right. And it's not like they. Welcome to Anaheim Angels Sports Talk on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. But it's not like they haven't tried to put. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But they've tried to put players. They've tried to put players around him too, with Anthony Rendon, Syndergaard.
Yeah.
Pujols.
They spent money.
Yeah, they do.
Garrett Anderson was out there. They just can't win. 20 games out of first place. Texas is 17.5 games out. Everybody talks about how good the Orioles have played. They're still 18 games out of first. I mean, I know they were the Yankees, but they're last place still.
Yeah, they are. The team that's really, really making noise, and it was a team that everyone expected to make noise, was Seattle.
Yeah, they're 1 game up on the wild card race, 9 games over. They've won 14 straight games. They were actually 37-42 at one point. Now they're 51-42.
Wow.
Yeah.
Playing well, and they have a guy with the Phillies connection who they traded for. They got Carlos Santana.
And JP Crawford too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is after I said that Santana's down years were in Philadelphia, and then of course they do have JP Crawford playing shortstop for him.
I believe he won a Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, he was a guy for a number of years as Phillies fans. It was he's the next big thing or the next prospect to come up and who we're going to be seeing play on a regular basis. And they moved, and I'm blanking on who they moved him for.
Who's that?
Crawford.
It was a right-handed pitcher. Oh, yeah. I'll find it in 1 second. I get the staff on. It was a big right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, it's not someone who is obviously jumping out as someone who was an amazing player for Philadelphia.
He did. He came here and he pitched a couple games, I think. He was like a relief pitcher. The name's we're gonna be like, yep, that's it. I type it in, it gives me the Carlos Santana trade.
Of course. Yeah, what's interesting too is when you look around baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays are a team was another team a lot of people thought could possibly be in the World Series, and it looks like they're not even going to be a playoff team.
I mean, it's tough playing that division.
They don't get to play the Phillies enough. That's their problem.
Actually, it was Gene Segura they got. I could have sworn there was another, like a right-handed pitcher in that trade. They got Segura for Crawford.
There was a number of trades going back over the past decade or so with Seattle because Cliff Lee was back and forth a little bit, and yeah, there was a few probably relievers or something in some of those trades. But you're right. Gene Segura was the trade. You're right.
Oh, and Juan Nicasio. That was the guy.
There you go. Yeah. All-star Juan Nicasio, right?
Yeah, right. So over the weekend, we appeared on Free and Out with Larry. We talked Eagles football and did an Eagles. We recapped the draft. We talked about last season, and we talked about this season and what the Eagles need to do. It was a good time. I'd like to thank Larry for having us on. It was actually played today.
I apologize, guys, for tonight. I was picking my daughter up right now at work, and you'll get a car start here in a second.
All right.
Fortunately, with technology and the power behind IE Sports Radio, we can do this. I can do this being mobile.
Yeah, right. That's probably why we're not hearing the sound as well tonight. It's the opposite of our usual broadcast.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a sound issue, but
you just got louder all of a sudden.
I guess because it's playing through the car instead of playing through the speaker on my phone.
Okay, so that's how we'll do it from now on. Whenever I'm the host, you'll go out to your car and talk. I'll read Terrence's comment. You have to get the last part for bonus points. He says the Angels are cursed. Artie Moreno needs to sell the team. Until then, I'm taking my allegiance to the Dodgers. I will not be accepting questions at this time as Nick Castellanos hits a home run to center field to give the Reds a 4-0 lead.
Oh my goodness!
You get.
Yeah, off Zach Wheeler in a game that I was in New York City when that game happened for that series, and it was interesting because that happened. Zach Wheeler lost that game, and the only game the Phillies won that weekend was started by Matt Moore.
That's right.
Wheeler lost and Nola lost.
Hi, Cheyenne. Thanks for joining us. Cheyenne says you're actually quieter now. I don't know how that's possible.
I don't know, but as long as I can be heard, I guess.
I hear you fine. I heard your turn signal and all. Yeah, so the Eagles start training camp in a week. So a lot of Phillies fans say if the Phillies can get you to Eagles training camp, they did their job. So they did their job this year, as the Eagles will go to training camp. And I think the most important thing nowadays in the NFL is just staying healthy. Training camp and preseason football games mean absolutely nothing.
There's only 2 preseason games now, right?
Is it 2 or 3?
I don't remember what happened when they added the extra game to the season, but they're right. We talked to Larry over the weekend, and I know that show has been put on the station, and I encourage everyone to listen to it, not just for the Eagles content, but for all the content surrounding the NFL. You're right.
It's 3.
The one thing that can bring everything down is that one injury.
Yeah, right. And the Eagles do play 3 preseason games because, they added 1 game. So I think once they add the 2 games to the schedule, then it's going to be 2 preseason. They are adding another team, another game, I believe. They're going to go to 18 games. Eagles take on the Jets August 12th.
Yeah, I think that's coming up in the future, where they're probably going to go to 18 games, correct?
Yes. Oh, how about tonight? I don't mean to get off topic, but if the All-Star game is tied after the 9th inning, they go to a home run derby to decide the game. Did you hear that?
Is that what they're going to do? The home run hitting contest if it's a tie?
Yes. Both managers have selected 3 guys in advance, and they'll get 3 pitches each. My only question is, who throws the pitches? Do you get to pick your pitchers or what? They haven't said that part. This was just all thrown on them last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that the National League will be represented by Kyle Schwarber in one of those. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know who was picked.
It's
I don't know who Schnitker picked.
It is Schwarber. It's Schwarber, Acuna, and Alonso.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know who the American League picked, but it's How about
Well,
if
you might as well just take the guys in the game who were in the home run.
yeah.
Snitker not in the game, is he?
Yeah, he is, right?
He's represent Washington. He has to.
Yeah, yes, but he didn't pick him. I guess he had to pick the players before the home run derby. How do you not pick the winner?
Yeah. Anyway, well, it probably not going to come down to a top anyway, but
It could easily be 2-2. I mean, if it's anything like last night, they could make it be that.
Well, Bobby, how about the comment from Dusty Baker for the guy starting for the league? He said, "I've never seen the guy pitch."
Yeah, he's never seen McClanahan pitch. He just goes by what other people told him. Yeah, I saw that last night. It's battle of two lefties to start the game. Clayton Kershaw's going to go for the National, and McClanahan for the American League Tampa Bay pitcher. They just pump out one after another, that team.
Tampa Bay does.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
They do. And one of the things that's really helped the Phillies, the guy who Tampa Bay let go and maybe straightened himself out, Jose Alvarado.
Yeah. He went to the minors and learned how to throw a sinker.
Cutter, sinker,
Cutter.
man. Yeah.
It's crazy how a guy makes it that far in baseball and doesn't know how to throw the pitch.
No, and then he can pick it up and comes back and now he's unhittable.
Yeah, he throws it 102 miles an hour.
Amazing.
Yeah, he closed out the game the other night. I mean, he's quickly gone from a guy that they didn't even want on the roster to probably their second or third relief pitcher, if not number one. Terran says thank you. That's
what
what
was interesting on Sunday. Yeah. He came in there when Aaron Nola couldn't finish the game.
Yeah. 14-0 over the weekend. The team they struggled against mightily over the years, so they'll take it. And everybody says they have an easy schedule the rest of the year. I know we think of that, but I'm getting a lot of this team's different comments lately on Twitter. This.
Yeah, I've got some of those too, and I'm like, well, it'll be different if they're playing a playoff game.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was interesting too because after they had really, really played terrible in Toronto, it looked like going to Miami was going to be a disaster. Miami took a 1-0 lead in the seventh inning of the Friday night game. Phillies got two runs to win that game, and Miami didn't score the rest of the weekend.
All right. Ohtani just got picked off first base. Why is he throwing pickoff attempts in an All-Star game?
I think they should trade Ohtani.
Hey, you never know. I mean, if you're the Angels, how do you not? You need prospects. I mean, either move Trout or him.
Well, I don't know. That contract for Trout would be difficult. I don't know if there's a no trade in there, but my goodness, when Ohtani's contract comes up, what's he going to get? Like $1 billion?
I know.
Well, let's look at it this way. He's arguably the best pitcher in baseball, so that could get you $500 million. He's arguably one of the best hitters in baseball, so that could get you the other.
I'm trying to find out I'm looking up his current contract. He's only signed for this year. 2 years, $8.5 million. He's only making $4.25 million.
How much is the team in New York going to pay?
Yeah. So he's 28. I thought he was older than that.
No, I mean, or like we said before, the situation with, and this is not to bring up anything bad for Karen, but the Angels just need to get their act together and find some guys who can come in there and actually produce. But that's been the situation with the Phillies as well. They've signed guys, and I know it's only like their first year for Schwarber and Castellanos, but other guys like JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, I mean, these guys need to come in. They get big contracts, and then they come in and don't live up to it.
Yeah, especially DD. He has not done much as a Philly. I mean, I know he puts out these cute little tweets after the games, and he's a clubhouse guy and a good guy, but he hasn't won. Not here, at least. You know,
If they come down to it, once the trade deadline comes up for the Phillies, is there guys who you think are untouchable in the minors?
no, not if you get the right guy. I mean, it's about winning. They don't have that many guys in the minors.
The only person I'd say is Andrew Painter.
I mean, I don't know if they have him above Mick Abel or not. I think Abel's a little further along in his development.
Yeah, because that just came to mind when I mentioned JT Realmuto, because a lot of people, when you look back, were thinking, well, of course it was a good trade, but you gave up a good young arm, and you see what happened there. I mean, you can't predict that someone's going to get hurt like Sixto Sanchez did, but, you know.
That's the problem with all these guys that throw 100 miles an hour. Their arms don't last. And I think, you know, that, you know, your guy O'Hoppy's a guy that they're probably going to move. I mean, he's their third ranked prospect right now, and he pretty much doesn't have a future as long as you got Realmuto here. They're not going to bring him up and play him over him.
No, you're right. They're not. If I guess Dombrowski sees something where he thinks it's going to be a piece this year, like we said, if it can be a guy who you can say is a solid number 3 starter, that might get O'Hoppy moved. Or if you get someone who's going to be an outfielder for a few years to come who can get on base,
right?
That's going to be an important thing too. I mean, that's like you look at Kyle Schwarber, and yeah, he leads the National League in home runs, but look at his batting average. And as a leadoff hitter, I mean, leadoff hitters need to get on base, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm told that doesn't matter. His batting average doesn't matter. It's his own base percentage that matters.
But a guy who's batting .210 is an all-star?
No.
That's, like I said, growing up back in the day, if you're batting .210, you were in the minors.
Right. You know, and I'm looking at the Phillies' top 30 prospects, and, you know, guys like Derek Hall, who is on the team right now, he's not even in their top 30 prospects.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, is it real accurate, these lists that you look up? I mean,
well, did they take him off of that prospect list because he's playing?
No, they leave them on here. They leave them on here because.
Okay.
Yeah, because Francisco Morales is still on here. Remember that Simon, what's his name? Muzziotti?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's here. Damon Jones.
Right.
Yeah, there's Jalen Ortiz is the other guy that they had thought maybe would get called up this season. He's another guy with power, right-handed hitter. He had 23 home runs last year. He has 13 this year in Reading. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if there's a spot for him on the team. Because once Harper comes back, that's going to – well, actually, wait, September will be here and you'll expand the roster, so maybe that's when a guy like that will get called up. You know, all these arms, they don't have a rival for them until 2024 and 2025.
Right, and especially now with the draft pick they just took
Crawford.
Brandon Crawford's son.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't say anything about that. Who knows what's going to happen to him?
Yeah. Well, since we've talked about Andrew Painter, I haven't looked at his stats in a while. Yeah, to answer your question, I'd say he's untouchable. It's
unbelievable what he's doing.
Yeah, he's 1-1. 1-1 in 13 starts. He must get Aaron Nola type run support. He's pitched.
Or he doesn't go 5 innings.
Yeah, that's true too, because he's only pitched 50 innings in 13 games. He's pitched 50 innings, given up 26 hits, 1 home run, 88 strikeouts, and a 149 opponent's batting average.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say he's untouchable.
Right.
Abel, not so much. Abel has struggled. He's 5-7 with a 4.25 ERA, 72 innings, 65 hits, 6 home runs. I don't know if he's in a higher level. He's an A+ ball, Jersey Shore, the Blue Claws. So yeah, Painter's further along. He's only 19.
I know. And like you said, he's a guy who can throw 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
Is that going to be something? Is that going to be something that he can bump that up to 101, 102 in a couple of years?
I don't know.
Or is it going to be something that causes him an injury?
Yep.
And
How many guys do you know that throw 102 have had a long career? Not many. Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan.
Randy Johnson didn't even throw that hard. It was close.
He was left-handed. It was a flowing, easy flowing motion. He was so 6'9", 6'10", right?
Right.
I mean that's why me personally, I'm someone who says bring these guys up, use them. Why waste these years in the minors? They're still pitching. Make those 50 innings be in the majors.
Yeah, you look at that from a contract standpoint and everything, and it's like, as a fan, I agree with you. I don't understand it, and especially just keep moving them up the ladder at least, and see what they can do at a different level. I mean,
Right.
If you're striking out 88 guys at 50 innings at one, you need to be at the next level quickly, in my opinion.
That's what happened with Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels
Right.
was the same way. They had no choice but to bring him up.
No, he was striking out almost every batter he was facing, and he was when he was at Scranton Wilkes-Barre at the time. The good old Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons,
Yep.
the AAA team, and when he came up, he didn't miss a beat either.
No, he didn't. You watch any of that Derek Jeter?
No.
I mean, I watched a little bit.
Comments about it though.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I mean, he's a guy that was in high school, and people laughed at him. He said, "I'm going to be the Yankee shortstop one day." And how'd the story go? He was scouted by. I got to look up the name. I knew the name at the time. He was a former, I think he was a Hall of Fame player who was the scout for multiple teams. I think they did back then. And he said that Derek Jeter is a can't miss number one pick. And when he wasn't he wasn't even in the top 5. This guy retired from baseball. He said, if I can't convince people to pick him, I can't do anything. So,
wow, well, he was right.
Yeah, so that was the year Phil Nevin was the number one pick. He went to the Astros, and then Derek Jeter was passed on by 5 teams, and he said he didn't even know the Yankees had the 6th pick. And then his mom said the Yankees are on the phone. they have the video of it. But he was a skinny.
So that kind of worked out. But when you were mentioning about scouts, one thing, I don't know if it happened, and I didn't mention it last week, or if it happened right afterwards. And I'm sure I'll have my daughter who's sitting next to me get the guy's name, or you might know it. But the guy, since the All-Star game is in Dodger Stadium, he was the icon who stood behind home plate with the radar gun for all those years.
Oh, yeah.
He passed away.
Oh, with the hat? The guy with the hat.
Yeah, he died within the last week or two.
The guy's name was Hal Newhouser.
Okay.
He quit his job. He said he couldn't get anybody to pick him. He quit. He could quit.
So it was always fun when the Phillies were out there, and you could watch the games later at night.
Yep.
And you would see him back. Well, him and Lasorda were 2 of the draws to watching the Dodgers play.
Oh, I saw another cool thing on what are those shows called? The guy you're thinking of is Mike Brito, the guy with the hat.
Mike Brito, correct.
It's that what's 30 for 30. There was a good cool one on it. The guy's name, they called him the sports imposter. He used to dress up like he went to the NBA All-Star game in like 1979, and he dressed up like he was a player and ran out with he got a seat right in the like as they came out of the locker room, and he ran onto the court. And the thing was, could he get a shot off? And he was out there warming up with the players. And they're like, who is this guy? So
Did someone do that in Golden State this year?
I don't know, did they?
Yeah, I think a guy did, and he's been banned from the building for life. He dressed up as a player.
Well, this guy did it in baseball. He He was on the field with Tommy Lasorda, and Tommy Lasorda ran him off the field. They had video of that. But yeah, and it turns out the guy had 36 kids who he fathered through sperm donation. So the name of the show was The Sports Imposter and Me, like 23 and Me.
Okay. I was gonna say if it was the other way, that guy was busy.
Yeah.
He's almost catching up to
Larry
what's
Bird,
the guy's name?
Sean Kemp.
The guy who was Sean Kemp, or the guy who was married to Mariah Carey.
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon, yeah.
Terrence says the Angels could get a tremendous haul for Trout or Ohtani, but Ohtani is too valuable to trade, but he's riding away on one of the most incompetent teams out there. It's pretty true.
Yeah, that was a situation, too, where obviously it wasn't Joe Madden's fault.
Right. Goldschmidt just hit a home run.
Yeah, that guy's having an impressive year for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, with the Phillies, you could definitely say part of the problem was Joe Torre. Not Joe Torre, I mean
Joe Girardi.
Joe Girardi.
Speaking of that, how about Jonathan Papelbon? Where did he surface from? He had some things to say today about the Phillies organization and the firing of Joe Girardi, and he called Bryce Harper a me guy, like he was all for himself.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a problem with Harper when he was in Washington. At the time, I remember the situation. Papelbon was right. He said, "Look, you got to run the ball out." And Harper kind of was a little bit upset with what he said. They had a little bit of a fight there in the dugout. I'm not so sure Harper's response couldn't have been, well, if you could close games, we might be in a better situation, because he was struggling when he was at Washington.
Yep. And there's future Philly Trey Turner with a base hit.
Papelbon's the all-time saves leader for the Phillies. That still amazes me.
I know. Seems like every closer that comes along becomes the all-time saves leader.
Yeah, and it's always guys. It always seems to be guys who came from another place too, like Jose Mesa, Brad Page.
Yeah, they never develop one. Oh, it's 8:38 on the East Coast here. I do have one quick I have a read, and we'll do a couple commercials, and we'll come back with the world famous Flyers Minute. We'll talk a little NASCAR. For the last 8 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content, ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we've continued to be by the fans for the fans, and with your help, we are ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers. The first one starting at just $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment of our flagship show, The Defining Moment. Thank you all very much for continuing to make IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. We have 4 Patreon supporters. We have Bay Area Raised. We have M. Los Great, Key to the Gate, and everybody's favorite, Anonymous. Thank you to everyone who made our 8th anniversary special. And here's to many more years to come. And we'll be right back after these messages. That I apparently did not download. Or did I? There they go.
Here they go.
So we'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big, nasty hits, if you like slap chop straight to the neck, if you like it when the gloves hit the ice and the big boys get down, then this is your show. On IE Sports Radio, this is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is the Neutral Zone.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, sports fans, to the final segment of Philly Sports Talk here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, 8:44 on the East Coast. And our final segment, we will talk NASCAR, talk Flyers Minute if we can get that long, and whatever else time we'll have, we'll fill it in somehow.
We sure will.
I guess we'll start with the world famous Flyers Minute. Boo!
Well, the Flyers have taken a lot of heat for what they did in the draft, what happened with them not making the signing, and that a lot of people thought they were going to do. Boy, it's not looking good for the Flyers going forward. I mean, I think the objective is to get the number one pick next year, and they're pretty close to it.
I put out a poll on Twitter. I said, your feeling as a Flyers fan, relocate or I love them? I think I got 88% relocate.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't mind that. I'd like to see them relocate, bring a team in here that actually people could like and support. But I can't support this team.
Well, Quebec needs a team.
Yeah. Quebec.
They can go back and beat.
Yeah, Quebec Flyers. Yeah, they can be the Flyers. We could have the Nordiques.
Yeah, exactly. My goodness, it's just I don't understand though the philosophy going forward. If you're going to sign a coach like John Tortorella, he's not a guy who it just doesn't seem to fit.
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. It's like bringing back Phil Jackson to coach the Oklahoma City Thunder. It just
Perfect example.
yeah, it just doesn't. It makes zero sense. You bring in a young. This is where you bring in a coach like that Hackstall they had a few years ago.
Right. Where you got a new guy who's coming in to get his first taste of coaching in the NHL. I mean, Hackstall was okay in Philadelphia, but he's moved on to the Kraken now, and you're right. It just seems like the situation is going to be one where John Tortorella is going to be one now. Probably. See, there's a poll question for you. Who wants out of Philly quicker, John Tortorella or James Harden? Well, once the season starts, who wants to be moved quicker?
I thought you were going to say, does Tortorella make it through the first season?
I would guess, I'm kind of joking there. I would guess that he does, but that's what I said the other day.
No, not by his own, not by their choice, by his own. He might resign.
Oh, I know.
He's not making that much money.
No, he's not. Once he sees what's put together, and they're losing 6-2 on a regular basis.
Yep.
Yeah, what I said before. I mean, I guess that wraps up the world famous Flyers minute.
Ooh.
What? There's been no real reports on James Harden and the contract, but obviously he's going to be in Philadelphia.
I don't think it's signed yet. It's not finalized.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hope it's not a situation where where the team's kind of struggling and he does what he's been famous for.
Yeah, the question is it going to be a 3-year deal or a 4-year deal? I think that's what we're not sure of.
Yeah, and obviously the situation in Brooklyn, he probably was right to want to get out of there. And now when you look at it, I mean, the Washington Wizards for Kevin Durant, that doesn't sound right.
Nah. They don't have enough players to give up to get him.
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they may have the draft picks, but I mean the way it looks now, Kevin Durant's playing in Brooklyn.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to want to play there.
Right, true.
I don't know if he.
Durant and Simmons who don't want to play.
Yeah, right. Here's something interesting. If you got an extra $65,500 laying around, you can be the proud owner of a Ohtani rookie autograph Angels Rare 2017 Topps Platinum card.
Wow.
And it's not even a 10. It's a 9.5. The card. It's not even a perfect grade.
Well, a 10 would probably be double.
The autograph got a 10, but the card got a 9.5.
Maybe the combination of getting a 10 doesn't exist.
It does. You can get a 10. I've seen
with the signature.
Oh yeah, I mean they grade the card and the signature separately.
Okay.
I mean I've seen 10 Ken Griffey Juniors. I've actually had them in my possession.
Oh right, but what I was saying was maybe one doesn't exist with Ohtani at the moment. That one's the one that's out there, but
yeah.
It probably could. Wow. That's I don't have the extra 65. Do you, Bobby?
No, not at all. But baseball cards have taken off lately. The industry's coming back.
Yeah, I see them now on Wednesdays. I visit one of 2 local comic book stores because that's when the new comic books come out on Wednesdays, and they have the one in Lancaster has baseball cards for sale. The one in York does not, but I'm surprised at the cost though. I mean, I've seen packs at Wawa too to buy, and it's the Tops are the ones I see the most.
Yeah.
And I'll see them at Walmart, Target, places like that. But no, you're right. It looks like they have rebounded some.
Yep. And I have a Ken Griffey Jr. 89 Upper Deck card, and it's never been touched. I've had it in the set since I bought it. I'm thinking about sending it to get graded. I mean, you might as well. It's just sitting there collecting dust. I might as well take a shot that it gets a 10.
Yeah, I don't know what that costs. I mean, I think comic books, the main company that grades them, I think it's $30 to get a comic book graded. I'm pretty sure a card's probably around the same price.
Same company, right? PSA?
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a Ken Griffey Jr. It's autographed. It's an autographed Upper Deck. The same place as the Otani card, Steiner Sports. They're asking $14,000 for it.
Wow.
Yeah, and here's one here on eBay, $1,790. That's not even the upper deck. That's a Topps. Wow, they're getting that much for the 1990 Topps. There's a ton of those cards. Wow.
I want to look through mine again. I think the Griffey one that I have is a Fleer.
Yeah, the Fleer rated rookie.
Yeah.
Yep. That's not as much. I mean, it's like $30. What's
Yeah, I have like him. I have McGuire, and I think I have Greg Maddux, and they're the Fleer ones. And you're right. There was a ton of those.
Oh, this is an 8. This is a near mint 8. It's going for $29. So yeah, we got off. I wouldn't mind doing a baseball card segment every week. You know what else I have in the house? I have a ton of the Pokemon cards that were also worth a ton. You get them great.
My daughter has been into them for a long time.
They're worth money.
Yeah, she has a pretty decent collection of those. I think recently though, I think she's gotten into. Oh boy, I should know what that is. It's another card that's been
Magic.
It's from the Dungeons and Dragons.
I was thinking that way. Magic: The Gathering was really big.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You're right.
Yeah. I'm well rounded. You know. I get all the sports. Yeah. No, I don't even know how to play it. I just know of it. I know a guy that place I eat at lunch all the time. He collects them, and he gets like $400 cards sent to him in the mail. I said you're crazy. I mean, I guess if there's a market for it, why not?
Yeah, there is, and Pokemon has been popular for a long time, and it's still going.
Yeah. All right, we got 7 minutes left. NASCAR over the weekend. We saw Christopher Bell become the 14th different winner of the season. Yep. That's insane. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's definitely not a sport that you can bet anymore. It's impossible to predict the winner. It used to be a time where you knew basically it was going to be Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson. You always knew that Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, they had their seasons. Now back in the
day when Gordon was racing.
Jeff Gordon. Now you can throw a dart at a board and pick the winner and be close. I mean, it's insane. They're just following each other around the track. No passing.
Well, I'll tell you what. Don't bet on anybody who is lining up close to Ross Chastain because they'll be knocked out early.
Yeah, I know. They do not like his driving.
No.
So yeah, it's announced today was July 2nd next year. They're going to have a race in Chicago, in the city of Chicago, around Grant Park and around the Fountain. I don't know how big the track's going to be. Was it 2.5 miles or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's what the report said, 2.5 mile track.
So they're going to have to close down the city of Chicago, so that should be interesting, especially on 4th of July weekend.
We'll see how the mayor out there feels about it.
Yeah. Are the cars? Are they going to be bulletproof cars?
That's my question. See if Mayor Lightfoot is she going to be there dropping the flag? I would doubt it.
Yep, that should be interesting. I finished Stranger Things. I'm finished with that show.
Oh.
Yep. It pretty much ended the way all the other seasons ended. So you'll be
a show that I've gotten through part of the first season, and I will continue on with here at some point.
Oh, Stranger! I thought you were going to say a new show. You're talking about Stranger Things.
No, Stranger Things. Yeah, that I'll continue on. No, what I've done recently was my stepdaughter. There's some shows that she really likes that's on the Disney Plus.
Okay.
And she finally convinced us to get the Disney Plus. So they have all the Star Wars. So I've gone back and started with episode 1 and I'm working my way through that. Again,
oh wow.
Might as well get the money's worth for if you're paying for the service.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of that, how are the Phillies on streaming services 2 out of the first 3 games back after the break? That's not making some people happy.
All 3 games are?
No, 2 out the first and third.
I didn't know that.
The first one, I believe, is on Apple, and the third game, the Sunday game, is back to Peacock.
Yeah, that should make I feel bad for the older people because they don't have those streaming services, and they don't know where to watch them, and they like to watch the games. And I have a guy that he would come down to the pizza shop that I go to lunch at, and he'd be looking for the games, and he said they're on Facebook today. I felt he was going through the channels trying to find Facebook on the TV. I said, "What channel's Facebook, buddy?" I said, "That's not a channel, man. You can't watch it on TV. It's not." He said, he like didn't pay attention. He asked another guy, "Oh, how do I get Facebook on this TV?" No, buddy, you're not seeing the game today.
I'm not the biggest fan of the announcers that the Phillies have. I like Tom McCarthy, but if it's not John Kruk, it leaves a bad taste sometimes.
Right.
Boy, the announcers on these services, wow.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. How they feel that that's a good, purchase by these people, that they're going to show one game from a team and expect to have a following.
Well, I think what they want to do is, and I think they want to do and try to follow the model of the WWE, where they want one of those services to pay them a ton of money to have the games. And you couldn't do that though. You can't do that with baseball,
right?
Like, where unless it's going to be a thing to where if they pay the money, let's say they would have 15 Phillies games a year, and then they'd have 15 Mets games a year, and they have 15 of each team or something like that. I think they're looking at it from a money standpoint, and what you said, it hurts the fans.
Right, but the market itself shouldn't have to not see the game. Like we should get the game, the local broadcast. You should see Dodger Stadium. There's got to be 2,000 empty seats.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say they're late arriving, bro. Right. Taylor says the new Bachelorette started last week. If anybody's interested in watching that one.
That's still a thing?
Yeah, they never stopped it.
Well, then the Bachelor's nonstop.
Yeah, it alternates. Yep. They never stop filming. Chris Harrison has a gig for life.
Is he still doing it after, or did he come back? Because I know he got kicked off of there for a little bit.
Yeah, is Chris Harrison still the host, Taylor? Answer me on the message board if you could.
I know he ran into some trouble. He was I think the story was some of the contestants he was inappropriate with.
Oh, yeah, he did get divorced. Yeah, so he was trying to find himself a new wife. That's 1 minute. Chris Harrison is not hosting. Wow, who's the new host? I have a feeling you're going to say like Nick Lachey or Jesse Palmer, the former quarterback. Wow. The former Florida Gator, Jesse Palmer. Wasn't he? I believe he was a contestant on the show at one time. He was. Well, yeah, we're about to end here. We got 1 minute left. We're going to be followed by the Neutral Zone and the off-season NHL, our NHL show here on eSports Radio. So we invite you to tune into that after we're off and enjoy that.
Yep, you got to check us out. Find me on Twitter, Chris Amos717, and Bobby
Cash. Bobby Cash 215. And our show, of course, our show with nearly 1,000 followers at Philly Talk IE. Stop on and give us a follow.
We'll be back next week. There will be a Phillies game going on, I believe. As we come back, they'll be playing the Braves. So It should be interesting.
Thank you, everybody.
Against the Cubs and then the Braves. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Great show, gents, says Taryn. Good night. Night, Taylor. Great show, guys. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.